But let me transition from CeeDee Lamb to your quarterback. And I'm going to be very delicate with what I'm asking because we all know what's going on with Dak Prescott. And there are things I'm smart enough to know that while a negotiation is taking place. You understand what I'm saying? Only a fool talks about their own negotiations while their negotiations are taking place. I would know that from personal experience right now. But I have to ask you, when you talk about looking ahead and looking to the future, how much of that thought process is applicable to your quarterback, considering what the quarterback market has dictated with everybody from Trevor Lawrence to Joe Burrow to Jordan Love? The list goes on and on. How much does that factor into your thinking, knowing what the market says it is about the most important position in football, which is the quarterback position?
Well, I'll tell you this. You've nailed it with your question and the ground that you have to cover. Dak is a long-term decision for the Dallas Cowboys. I think Dak, one of his unique things is that he's going to be able to, his makeup, what he is, his skill levels, what he is as a person and a quarterback will age well as you look at quarterback age and viability. I think it will age well as he moves into the next 5 or 10 years of his life. I think he's the kind of quarterback that gets better and better. That we certainly know that time, oh Father Time, that it makes a big difference as we get older. But quarterback is a place that experience can manifest itself in wins. Also, the hard times, the mistakes that have been made, if you've got the right kind of makeup, that's a plus. You need rewarded for having gone through that because you, not Stephen A. I'm pointing to, I'm talking about Dak Prescott, you know how to use a hard time and turn it into an asset. He does that. It's one of his qualities.
What evidence is there of that, though, Jerry? Because I'm thinking about postseason. I know that he's been absolutely phenomenal in the regular season. He wins in September, October, November. In the month of December, I think his record is like 21-8. But then January comes, the record is 4-8. And last time I checked, when you started here, 36 years ago, it didn't take you long to get a first ring, then a second ring, and then a third ring inside of 4 years. And the Dallas Cowboys were loaded with a level of success that we still revere to this very day. At what point do you look at your quarterback and say, when are you going to give it to me in January?
You're so good. You're so good. No, I mean it. And I appreciate it because you literally have gone through the steps of thinking that I've evolved, not just over the last weeks, months, but over the years. There is a case where you have to think that something's going to happen that hasn't happened yet. Otherwise, you're sitting right there with everybody else having measured the experience. Okay. In Dak's case, I look at his basic great qualities, and then I fundamentally see someone that is getting better. I think he got better with coaching him directly as his offensive coordinator.
Okay.
I think he has improved since the day that he got here, if you really want to look at that.
So you think he was better last year with Mike McCarthy as both the head coach and the play caller than he was when Kellen Moore was here as the offensive coordinator?
Well,
is that fair?
Without diminishing or demeaning Kellen, he was definitely better last year.
Okay.
Definitely. And by the way, room to get better, room to grow. I think that's a fact. The other thing is that he's got last year in his heart and in his framework of reference. He's got that and the disappointments that went with it, some of the positive that went with it. He's got that to use this year. Physically, yes, I think he's getting better. I do want to recognize, though, that as you get older, then some of that is diminished. This is a position, though, that long-term experience can really pay off for you. Now, here's the way that I look at it completely is that when you look at what he brings to the table as opposed to the alternative. The alternative is not a one-year alternative, it's a several-year alternative.
Fair.
So when you look at the prospects of the likelihood of him over the next 5 years knocking on that door, I like those odds. And that to me is where you go. You pull the trigger on it. Now, it's very important that we have a way to reconcile this with Dak, because we've had the benefit of a lot of supporting cast with Dak over the last 5, 6, 7 years.
Yes.
Would you give us that?
Yes, I would, in a
Okay.
heartbeat.
Okay, so we've had a lot of supporting cast. There's no question that with Dak having been very well paid over the last 4 or 5 years,
$157.4 million over the last 4 years.
over the last 4,
That's right.
there's no question that I got some of that off my credit card.
Okay.
In other words, I spent some money that I didn't have.
Right.
Very common in the NFL. Matter of fact,
And
it's
common with you, because that's what you
Practice.
did when you first bought the Cowboys.
well, it is.
Yeah.
It very much is. But you certainly, I'd like to say I did then too, but I had a passion that I wanted to get involved that I scratched then that I'm not scratching that passion as much right now. I'm trying to be real practical, at least in this explanation
Right.
to you. But the facts are that not only have we had great supporting cast around Dak, we have also spent some of the money that we've got to spend on Dak in the future. That went in on his last contracts.
Right.
That's the way the cap works, and that's usually when you have a high-priced quarterback, what you do. So we have the challenge of not only recouping what we have spent on him over the last 4 years, we've got to add that to what we're going to be paying him for the future. Now, that's not Dak's problem only in that it's the Dallas Cowboys problem, because that money is not going to be there to spend on supporting cast. And so we've got to ask ourselves, can we have the kind of success that Dak deserves, we deserve, his teammates deserve, our fans deserve? Can we do that and get in the range to afford Dak? I think we